So I've been trying to tell people about this for the longest. I made a video about it in the past and nobody really watched it. I'm gonna say it again because I know this is what y'all need. I don't care if you're doing music, if you're doing anything that has to do with trying to make money or a business, you need this. So I'm a music artist, I'm a producer, so I'm gonna talk about that, but you can apply these to anything that you are doing that ties into you running a business, especially online. If you have to use the internet for web, anything, you need to know about metadata and SEO. SEO is search engine optimization, which ties into metadata. They kind of like, they go hand in hand, kind of the same thing. So we're going to talk about YouTube today. All right. And for those who are marketing their music, if you don't know what marketing is, just think of a market, right? Think of a market. Like, if you go into a market, any type of market, supermarket, clothing market, whatever, there's a certain structure that makes it sell. Okay? So you have to know how to market, right? First of all, if you have a place of business, you have to let people know where you are. How do they find you? If you go and look back in, when we had phone books, right? You would typically have your place of business in a phone book. And in that phone book, it's like a directory. And if somebody needed plumbing, for example, they would look in the P's, I guess, for plumbing. If somebody needed lawn service, they would look in the L's, I guess, for lawn service. However, I can't remember where they would have the businesses at, but I think there was a separate business directory and a regular one for businesses and one for just residents. Like if you're trying to call just somebody's regular. This is when phone landlines existed. Some of y'all might not know what a landline phone is. Okay, that's probably like, y'all might not even know what cassette tapes are, and some of y'all might not even know what CDs are. 8 tracks, records, all that stuff. But anyways, so there was once a point in time when you could basically put your business in a phone book. Okay, and that is how people would find you. Okay, so now we're in the digital world. Okay, we're in the digital world, and you need to know about metadata and SEO. Okay, because the computer or the server has to be able to know, like when y'all want to know about the algorithms. All the algorithm on YouTube is what people search for. The algorithm on YouTube is not like these tricky algorithms on Instagram and Facebook and all that. YouTube's algorithm is not rocket science. All it is what the people search for. Go back to the phone book, like I said. If somebody wanted to know plumbing, they would go to the plumbing section, the P's in the plumbing section in the phone book, in the directory. It's the same thing with YouTube. If you are a plumber or a musician or whatever, a singer, songwriter, you a food business, whatever, you would put that keyword, which is metadata or SEO, that would make you SEO friendly. You put that in your title and description. You put that on, but before you even get to that point, you would want to start with putting that metadata in your profile bio description, right? If you go to there's a place on your YouTube profile where you have the option to add like a description on your profile bio, right? And in that, this is where you would put the metadata, right? You would let YouTube know what your page is about. Okay, so you want to put like a brief description of what your page is about. But before even all of this, you would first want to do research. If you don't already know the keywords that you should be using and what people are searching for and what ties into your niche or topic or subject that you're talking about. If you are a producer or musician or artist or whatever you are, right? You want to make sure that you have those keywords in your description, profile, and bio, as well as in some of your video titles and descriptions. Okay? Like, it's really simple. Most people come on YouTube trying to use all these hashtags, and they're like, man, why am I not getting any views? Because YouTube is not the same as Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and all that. Okay? Hashtags are not really going to get you anywhere. And you got to understand that hashtags and tags on YouTube are different things. Two slightly different things. Okay? But they still are tags. Okay? So they still lead to metadata. They still lead to SEO. Okay? But the biggest thing, like I said, is going to be you want to make sure you're putting these keywords in all of these different areas. This will help you to help your page to be seen, help your videos to be seen, help you to get more views, help you to go viral. I see a lot of people, they just put the date, because YouTube, if you post a video and you don't put a title, YouTube is going to by default just put today's date in the title, and some people will just leave it like that. Now, you might get views, but here's the kicker. If you have a video that is about how to wash a car and you just put today's date, when people go to search how to wash a car, your video is not going to pop up. Why? Because it's YouTube doesn't know what your video is about. Now, there is one way that you might get lucky. Okay, but you want to make sure you give yourself all of the possible options for going viral as possible. The one way I said you might be lucky is because YouTube closed caption can pick up on what you're saying in your video. Okay, so it's not always 100% accurate, but it will pick up on keywords that you're talking about in your video. So it kind of has an idea of what you could be talking about in this video. But to confirm that, to validate that, to give yourself more chances of virality or going viral, you would want to have these keywords, whatever your channel's about. For example, my channel's about music, so I use something like vidIQ. You can use vidIQ, Google Trends, which Google and YouTube is owned by the same people. Google Trends, vidIQ, TubeBuddy, keywords everywhere. There's so many different things, but I like vidIQ because vidIQ does like these. You can download the app, but vidIQ does like these quizzes, and they pretty much do everything. They put you through these mini courses every day, and they do everything they can to try to help you get the best out of your channel. And everything I'm telling you, they will tell you step by step, and they don't give you too much at once. They give you like a little bit every day, like 1 or 2 or 3 little tasks every day, and then they don't want to put too much on you, so they'll be like, hey, come back tomorrow and we'll tell you some more. And so every day you're just adding all these little steps. But your like I said, your description and your profile bio, the very first sentence, you want that to make the user want to subscribe. You have to tell them what like the very first 1 or 2, 3 sentences, because your description, that little wording in the about section, the bio of your profile, you're not gonna see the entire thing. So you don't want to wait till the middle or the end to tell the people why they should subscribe to your channel. You need to say that in the first sentence, like whatever your channel's about. Like you might be a producer or whatever. You could start off like that. You could be like, hey, look, I'm a multi-million selling producer, or you could be something like you could do something like what I would do, I would lead with something that's telling them why they should subscribe. So you could be like, hey, are you tired of your music not going viral? I'm a award-winning producer, and I can teach you music. You need to know music marketing. I can teach you. So those first 3 sentences are already gonna make somebody want to subscribe, right? So you have to kind of lead with stuff like that, so that your audience will want to subscribe. The other thing would be your name and your handle. Your name and your handle, I know they sound the same, but your name and your handle is what has the @ symbol. So it'd be like @ such and such and such. Your name is just your name, right? But you want to make sure that your name lets people know what your page is about. Like, for example, if I'm into music, I would want to have music or something surrounding music in my title. Okay? Like, let's say whatever your name is, let's say you're a music artist or whatever. You might want to put your name and then music. So that way music, the reason we're told to put music in the name, the handle, and all these other places, because remember, we're talking about metadata and SEO. So if you have the word music, or producer, and all of these different spots all over your page, YouTube is going to say, I think this page is about music. I think this page is about producer, right? Or I think this page is about, for example, if it was music marketing. Or if but the reason I say that you should go on vidIQ and search is because you don't want to put these keywords everywhere all over your page, but they're not getting a lot of searches. This is why vidIQ helps you, because what vidIQ does is vidIQ is going to show you which words people are searching for on the internet and on the YouTube, and which ones have high competition or saturated, and which ones have low competition. So what you want is, you want keywords that have a lot of search volume, a really high search volume, but has low competition. If it has high search volume and low competition, that means you can post a video there and you don't have a lot of competition. So if you post a video with that title or topic or that keyword, music marketing, for example, if somebody searches for music marketing, your video has a higher chance of popping up, because there's not a lot of people posting those type of videos with the word music marketing in them. You see what I'm saying? So if your video is about food or auto repair or whatever it is, the way that you want to start, like what I did, my page is about music. So what I did was I took the word music, typed it into vidIQ, and looked at what keywords popped up. Music marketing was one of the biggest things that popped up on there. So I said, like what I did was I kept doing it. So then what I would do, so music marketing popped up as some other words. I wrote down music marketing and I think a couple of other ones. And so then what I did, because music marketing popped up, I typed music marketing in the search, in the keyword search. Now it came up with a whole nother set of words. And I seen, okay, which ones have a high search and the low competition. See, if you're just going by words that you think in your head, you don't know if the competition is high or not. If you're thinking that, somebody else might be thinking that, so it might be already a ton of videos on that topic. There's nothing wrong with that. You can still put out those type of videos, but the problem is everybody's wondering, man, why am I not getting any views on YouTube? because you're putting your videos in a saturated market. Remember we talked about the storefront and having your products in the store. If you're in competition with a bunch of other stores, how do you stand out? This is about knowing how to market. This is about research. If your competition is doing the research and knows how to market, and you don't know that, their videos are going to go above yours every time. They're going to get the sales every time. You're still wondering, oh, YouTube hates me. The algorithm hates me. It's not that. You just don't know marketing. You don't know metadata. You don't know SEO. We've all been there. But so many artists that I run into, they know how to make music, or they think that they can just make music and put music on the platform and it's going to get views. That's not how this works. Think about it. If you had, let's go back in time when CDs were sold, right? If you had CDs and you were selling CDs out of the trunk of your car or whatever, and you said, hey man, I'm gonna go stand on the street corner or whatever, or I'm gonna go put a table up and put my CDs out, and I'm gonna sell CDs. And let's say you're in the middle of nowhere. You're in a desert. You're in nowhere. There's nothing around you. No houses. No places of business. Nothing around you. There's no people. And you set up a table just in the middle of nowhere. That is the equivalent of what you're doing when you post a video and just throw it on YouTube without any metadata or SEO. You're just setting up in the middle in no man's land. Nobody knows you're there. Nobody knows what your video is about. Nobody knows what your CDs are about. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you have to, from the album cover, you have to have a good album cover. And that's the same thing like with the your album cover might be the equivalent of like your thumbnail, the image on your video, right? And then the title is, the title is to tell them what the video, what it's about. But your picture, your image should already tell people what it's about before they even read the title, because people are visual people, right? That's a whole nother discussion. Like, if you go download vidIQ will tell you step by step how to create your channel art. What's the right way? They'll give you some examples. What's the right way and what's the wrong way to do channel art? I mean, thumbnails. And also titles. They'll tell you all this stuff that I'm telling you, they will tell you in detail. But you need to organize your channel. Like I said, if you walk into a market or a place that sells clothes or a grocery market or whatever it is, and they got beef over here, and then on the other side of the store, they got beef and chicken and, you know what I'm saying? And then they got cereal over here. And then they got cereal way on the other end of the store. And nothing is organized. It's kind of like when somebody comes to your page. You need to have your page organized. They're not going to look through all your videos to try to find out what's the best video, what's the best video. You need to create playlists. You need to create playlists. So that way, when somebody comes to your page, always display your best content. Me, for example, I have about 1,000 videos on my page. Nobody is going to come to my page and look through 1,000 videos to try to find the 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 videos that's for them. This is why metadata and search engine optimization is important, but also for people that just stumbled across your page without searching it. They just stumbled across it. You want the visual and the organization of it to be on point. You want your top 5 videos in each different playlist to be forefront. Now, once they watch a couple of videos, then they'll be like, man, I really like this person. Let me subscribe. And then they'll probably start watching your other stuff. But you don't want them to have to dig through a pile of videos to try to find the one video. They're not going to do that. They're going to go to somebody else's page that has it organized. Just like I said, if you had a store and people have to go from one end of the store to the other end of the store to the other end of the store because you don't have anything organized. You got cereal over here, you got cereal over there. When they ask you what a cereal is, you like, well, we got cereal on that end of the store. We got cereal over here. We got cereal over there. People just want to go to one spot for their cereal. They want to go to one spot for their beef. They want to go to one spot for their ramen noodles. They want to go to one spot for their drinks. They want to go to one spot for their water. You see what I'm saying? Organize it. If somebody's coming to your page for water, they don't want to have to look through 1,000 videos to find the video about water or hydration or fitness or whatever. I'm throwing out random examples, okay? Another thing is timestamps and chapters in your videos. This is very important because what this does is if you record one video, right? And that one video, you put timestamps and chapters in it. Let's say your video is 10 minutes long or 20 minutes long and you put timestamps, it will basically, you have to use the description. You have to use searchable words in each different timestamp so that when somebody searches, for example, in this part, like let's say your video is about music, but in one part of the video, you might be talking about music marketing. The next part, you might be talking about how to record your video. The next part, you might be talking about editing vocals. The next part, you see what I'm saying? So you want to put chapters or descriptions, timestamps on each section of that video. So even though that video is 10, 15, 20 minutes long, what will happen is YouTube will slice that video. It'll be one video, but they'll also slice it into like little short videos where they're like, whatever the timestamp you put on it, whether you make it 1 minute or 5 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever, it'll slice those sections up. So that way, when somebody searches for music marketing, boom, that little section of your video will pop up in search. Metadata and SEO. This is how to go viral on YouTube. Okay. Another thing is I would create a pie chart. Okay, or a grab chart, however you want to do it. A pie chart, and think of 3 to 5, maybe maximum 8 things that describe you and what your page is about. Okay, I know my page is about music. That's like music. Like that's like the number one thing. But what else surrounds music that I talk about on my channel, right? I talk about like how to DIY. And when I say that, I'm talking about like how to be your own record label A to Z, how to do your own music marketing. And so I might also talk about, let's say, for example, celebrity gossip. Okay, that might be another thing that describes my page. Okay, another thing might be videos, right? I teach people how to make their own videos, okay? Professional videos. So that is another thing that I talk about because I'm a videographer, okay? Another thing might be lighting, which still goes into videos, okay? The right lighting. Podcasts, I talk about that. Podcast is one thing I do on my page. I talk about, like I said, dating and relationship podcasts. And some people say, well, how does that go with music? Remember, celebrity gossip. And like I said, marketing, and I also have a music podcast where we talk about music. Okay, so those are some examples. All right, but your thumbnail, your channel art, your channel layout, and then also use for visuals, Canva is gonna be your best friend. A lot of my thumbnails I use Canva. You can use Canva for anything. Canva does everything. They have marketing videos. Like if you're releasing some music, you can go to music release. You can type that in Canva search, and boom, it'll come up with all these templates. It's like easy templates. All you have to do is click on the template and you just use it. So I did it the other day. I downloaded a free template from Canva, and I just uploaded it straight to YouTube with my music playing. You know? So that's just a quick, and you can customize it the way that you want, you know, but people always think that YouTube is so hard. They try to come to YouTube using hashtags. You know, you can use, I think YouTube is now getting to the point where they're starting to use hashtags. You notice that they're starting to use hashtags now, but hashtags has never been the big thing. Another thing you want to pay attention to is trends. That's why I say use YouTube Trends and Google Trends, because you want to know what the trending topics are. I saw a girl go viral on YouTube by using things that were trending, and she got massive views way before a lot of other people. So you want to incorporate a lot of these different things. Like, for example, what I do is I try to look for like trending topics. Like, if there's a celebrity, a artist just dropped a new album, or you know, or whatever it is, I try to talk about those things sometimes, because a lot of times there's a high search for those, right? So you can get if your video has that title or something pertaining to that album release or whatever. Let's say you're giving a review. Man, I just listened to the new Lil Wayne album, the new Lil Wayne album Carter 6. Man, I really liked it, you know? And you will be able to, when people search for Lil Wayne Carter 6 album, your videos have a chance of popping up in search. Okay, that is a trending thing. So there's that. Now, I made one video of this. I'm making another one, and because I don't know if I talked about metadata in there, but everything that I talked about still, SEO still ties into metadata. It's still kind of the same thing. But I don't know if I talked about like the description and the profile and all that. I might have, but I don't remember. And I'm going to put this video right here in the playlist with that other one.